Hi there and welcome to the Guitar Fingers performance video of the Trinity Grade 1 song Spider. Straight away I'm going to discuss the important things to think about in playing a performance of this song, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on the notes because I would have taught you those in the lessons. So the most important things to look at, of course, are our time signature. It's got a C sign, which means common time, so that's 4 beats in a bar. And our key signature, we have no sharps or flats. So there's no sharps or flats in the key signature, but as we can see in the music, we do have some sharp notes appear. Notably, a D sharp on fret 4, of course, of string 2, and C sharp fret 2 of string 2. So just be aware of those. And of course, where necessary, they're changed back to our natural notes. That's normal D and normal C, as indicated in the music by the natural sign. So the most important thing we're going to always do when looking at performance is make sure we play fluently and evenly, so there's no gaps in between the notes that not necessarily need to be there, and we're going to look at playing at the correct tempo and getting our musicality and the dynamics. So we've got to make sure we have a mixture of all those things to make a nice fluent musical performance. So talking about tempo, it says a crotchet beat is 84 beats per minute, so this will be roughly about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I split those into halves because we can see most of the time we're counting in quavers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And while we're just learning it into the performance, I'll just do it slightly slower, but it's important to remember to play it at the correct tempo in a performance. So I'm going to play the first phrase now, and I'm going to say to you, the best thing to do is watch this first, then play along with me. Just rewind it back to when I'm talking now, and then just play along and see if you can play along with me. I'll give you my count, and I've prepared, you can see I've got my finger 4 prepared, roughly about fret 4 on string 2 there, ready to play when I need to, so there's no surprises for me when it comes along. And I'm going to count in this tempo, and MF, remember the dynamic, mezzo forte, so moderately loud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so that covers bars 1 to 4. And you can see the thing that I did at the end in bar 4 there, line 2, is I did a decrescendo to make that quieter. So we go down to piano, the dynamic of piano. You notice that in bar 3, of course, I had my C natural, so I played that. It's a tricky one to remember. I would suggest just put a little line underneath it so you notice it's there, because it's easy to miss with all those Bs being played. So we're going to look at what we call our next phrase, our second 4 bars, which covers bars 5 to 7. Now the biggest thing that we can see there, of course, it's a 2-bar phrase here actually, and it's bars 5 and 6. And the biggest thing that I notice here is we have a crescendo from P all the way up to forte, and then a decrescendo down to go down to say piano again. We'll put that as piano there. It doesn't mark it, but we'll say it will go to piano. So the main thing is we've got new notes to play, so familiarise yourself with those. And now I'm going to count. I'll give a 1-bar count and a performance. So again, listen to it, then rewind the video back, and then you can play along with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that completes the second little phrase. So that one was just 2 bars. And now we're going to look at bars 7 and 8, which is like a 2 little bar phrase again. And It's almost like a repeat, if not an exact repeat, and it has the same dynamic. So we're going to start P piano, crescendo up to forte, and then decrescendo, and this time it says down to MF. So we'll go up to forte loud and then down to MF. So I'll count in again, 1 bar, and then we'll play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So this is bars 9 to 12. We have almost a repeat of the first section. Remember that C note in bar 10 when that appears, and the decrescendo that will take us down to P piano, starting on MF. So here's my count: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3, 4. A rest on 4 there, so I cut the note because on beat 4 it says play a rest. So that's our whole song, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play it all the way through with no stops, and you can hear, when I'm playing this, you can hear that I'm counting all the time. Obviously in a performance we don't count, but learning it we count. And I'm also counting with the dynamics, so like when I need to be playing quieter, I talk quieter, and then when I need to play louder, I kind of say it louder, and that helps me get that into my hands, so we're playing with the correct dynamics. So here's my performance of Spider. 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 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 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3, 4. So there you go. So there's the performance of Spider. Just to recap on everything that I said, it's about counting, so you keep a nice fluent tempo, 1 and 2 and, getting the dynamics level, and you heard how I did that by counting louder or quieter to help me play the dynamics correctly, and really just trying to enjoy the song. It's played, it says mysteriously, so we've got to imagine that spider creeping around and some surprises in there, and just try and tell a little story with the song through the playing.